Easy methods of saving money, managing personal debt, and handling personal finances.
Gross income is what you earn. And from that, Uncle Sam takes what he thinks is his share, which is a lot more than what we think is his share. So we end up taking home a lot less than what we think is our share. But what we take home is called disposable income. We can't dispose of the gross income because we owe taxes on it. But we dispose on what's left after taxes. Most people think there's lots of things we can do with disposable income. There's only two things we can do with disposable income. You either spend it or you save it. What you don't spend, you save, and what you don't save, you spend. On the spending side, economists tell us that there's two types of spending, discretionary and non-discretionary. Non-discretionary spending meaning food, shelter, and clothing. Discretionary spending being anything that's left over after food, shelter, and clothing. They lied to you. Everything you spend your money on is discretionary. Everything you spend your money on. No one tells you what house to live in. No one tells you what clothes to wear, except for maybe your spouse. No one tells you what food to eat. No one tells you what car to drive. Everything you spend your money on is 100% discretionary. That means 100% of your disposable income is discretionary. Don't be misled. Use your money wisely. Everything you spend your money on is discretionary. You think about it. A very important point to understand is that whether you're the CEO of a company or you're working in the mailroom, we're all hourly employees. Even if you work for a commission, you're an hourly employee. If you're a salaried employee, you are an hourly employee. And in fact, if you're an hourly employee, you are an hourly employee. It's real simple math, folks. All you have to do is take the number of dollars you take home during the year and divide that by the number of hours you work during the year, and you'll get your max factor. Once you realize this, once you connect earning dollars and take that to the store and spend them, and you realize how long it takes you to earn those dollars, once you start spending them, you'll spend them wisely. Because you'll think of it in terms of, oh, it took me 10 days to work at the office with all kinds of deadlines, with all kinds of pressures in order to buy this one item. So let's take that trip across the desert that I promised you earlier on. We're going to take a trip across the desert with one full tank of gas, and the trip is going to be 400 miles across the desert with no filling stations until we reach mile 400 at our destination. In this scenario, the full tank of gas is our monthly income. The 400 miles that we're driving is the month, and the filling station at mile 400 represents our next month's paycheck. We start out driving, we're driving real fast, we're enjoying ourselves, our hair's blowing in the wind. I wish I had hair. And at mile 200, we look down at the fuel gauge and we realize that we've got a little less than half a tank full left. What do? We let up on the accelerator, we ration our gas properly, and we make it to the filling station at mile 400. If we have any gas left over, we call that savings. Now let's take that very same trip, all else being equal. It's just that we don't have a fuel gauge on the car. We start out driving, we're driving real fast, the hair's blowing in the wind, the whole bit. We get somewhere along this 400-mile stretch and the car stops because it's out of fuel. Well, I guess if we had a Cadillac, we could push the North Star button and some helicopter would swoop down and pick us up and take us to safety. In real life, that'd be cheating. That'd be like calling Daddy and asking him to bail us out. Our only alternative is to get out of the car and walk. In real life, this walking symbolizes the fact that you are out of money, you are out of cash, but you still have to house yourself, feed yourself, and clothe yourself. You open up the car door, you step out and look towards the horizon. You can't see the end of the road. In real life, you can't see the end of the month. You don't know if you're going to make it. You start walking. It's 125 degrees in the shade in the desert. That heat in real life, that's your creditors coming after you. You keep walking. You start sweating. That sweat in real life, that's the interest you owe on your debt. They're both clear. You can't see them. You keep walking. The wind blows up. You're hoping it'll be refreshing. Not at 125 degrees. Besides, it's got sand in it. It's nasty. It's gritty. It gets in your clothes. Those unexpected expenses, like your child gets sick and has to go to the hospital, and there's always that part that insurance doesn't pay. Yeah, but you got to keep walking. Now you're hot, sweaty, and gritty. You pass the only bush in the desert. A snake crawls out and bites you. Those really unexpected expenses, like auto insurance. It always comes up at the wrong time of the year, at the wrong time period. But you got to keep walking. Now you're snake bitten besides being hot, sweaty, and gritty. A car drives up. You're hoping it'll stop. Sure enough, the driver gets out, robs you of everything you got, gets back in the car and drives away. That's Uncle Sam taking even more taxes. Would you like to take this trip across the desert without a fuel gauge on your car? I don't think so. Why would you want to go through life spending without a fuel gauge on your money? Today we learned the principles of money, how money's earned, how money's spent, and how to control that money. Today I challenge you to take those principles and apply them, and you'll start to secure your financial future. Thank you very much. Thank you.